Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. A big video coming up for you today because we're going to be talking about the 5 vital improvements that Quique Setien needs to make in order to bring Barcelona back to their very best and ultimately fulfill the huge potential that this squad has. We're going to be talking in today's video about the preparation, we're going to be talking about the team, what we need to do on the field, and everything that it's going to take to really put us back amongst the very elite. It's all coming up in today's video. Let's do it. Because given the fact now that Barcelona may be back on the training field within the next few days or so as football starts its recovery process, as we start to gear up now potentially to a return in June, I think it's really important to analyse exactly what Barcelona and in particular Quique Setien needs to do to get the best out of us. Because now more than ever, I think coaching, it's going to be so important. I think it's going to be really important there to get back into the swing of things, to get down to business very quickly. And I think Quique Setien will have enjoyed this break in some periods. He would have had a bit more time to get himself settled in, to really analyse the things that he needed to do, needed to bring to this squad. And I think certainly now, on our return, we've got to get to it. Very quickly, very important things. Here they come. So number 1 on my list would all be surrounding exactly that, training. Because first things first, before we even step onto the football field, before we even step out there in the big match periods, we've got to talk about the changes we need to make in our preparation. That's really important because the 90 minutes that we see every weekend at the Camp Nou, at any stadium we go to, that's just a tiny fraction of the work that the players put in over the course of the week leading up to that game. Because training is crucial. That's where you win. That is where you lose. No matter who you are, doesn't matter how good you are as a team, doesn't matter how good you are as individual players, you need to train. And not only train, not just do it there for the sake of training, but you need to have quality in that training. And it should be designed there, all of the drills, to keep you at your very best level. And that's going to change. We have to change the way this Barcelona team go about their training sessions. Because I think Setien would have come in, he admitted it himself, he was surprised in which he found the players, the condition they were in. He said they were nowhere near where they needed to be, and I think Setien would have tried to change things as quickly as he possibly could. But let me be clear here, that cannot be done overnight. Setien certainly tried to enforce change, but that would have taken much longer to actually put into progress, and also changing that mindset of the players. Because I think before this break, the players still weren't there. We, of course, were training more, we were training more intensely, but it still takes longer than that there to break the habit, really, that we developed under 2.5 years of Ernesto Valverde. Because you heard Malcolm just a few days ago, he was speaking about his time in Zenit, saying they did double training sessions, and he actually said Barcelona only train for 40 or 50 minutes, and that's why many of us got injured. And I think it takes a long time there, a few months perhaps, maybe even a full pre-season, whenever that may be, for Setien really to enforce that change the direction, change the mentality, because you all have heard the saying about preparation. Fail to prepare to fail. And what that means is, Barcelona, over the past few seasons, we failed to prepare for the big moments. We failed to prepare ourselves to win the biggest trophies. And with that mindset, you cannot compete at the top. Grind out the maximum amount of your ability, and that comes from the training. Point number 2 is all surrounding our defensive structure, because we can talk about attacking additions like Lautaro Martinez, Neymar Jr., all of those kind of players. It's fantastic, but you've got to be real about this. We could bring in all the forward options in the world, but until we improve defensively, we're not going to compete at the top. We are not going to compete among the best clubs in the world if you cannot defend, because it's been proven year after year. The very best teams, they may well score goal after goal, they may well be very good going forward, but they all have a solid base. They've all got a good, solid defensive structure. You've got to be able to defend. Admittedly, some teams defend better than others. Some teams put more emphasis on defending, but whoever you are, however you play, you still need to be able to do the basics. A defence that you can rely on. As forwards, you always want to look back and think, you know what, they've got that covered. If we get 1 or 2 goals, we can win this game because we also are going to keep clean sheets along the way. And Barcelona, let me just give you some stats here. Barcelona haven't conceded more goals than Real Madrid in a single league season since 2007 to 2008. That campaign was the last time that we conceded more goals in a campaign than Real. That's 11 successive seasons prior to this one, whereby we've been defensively stronger than our biggest rival. But this season, it has been an absolute disaster. Because when you look there, side by side at the defensive records of Barcelona and Real Madrid, the results there tell you everything you need to know about the state of our defence and how it simply got very, very bad over a few seasons now. It's been certainly going that way at the end of Luis Enrique's time, then into Valverde. We've just started there to slip and slip and slip. And admittedly this season, Real Madrid's defence has got better. They put a lot more emphasis on their defending. They conceded just 19 goals in 27 games this season, which is a very, very good record. But then you look at Barcelona's record, 31 goals conceded, 12 goals more than Real in just 27 games. That's a big difference. Even with Real there improving their defence, there shouldn't be that much of a gap. And it's not just Real Madrid. We're not just here talking about a top team in Real who conceded less than Barcelona this season. The list goes on. Sevilla have conceded less. Getafe have conceded less. So have Atletico Madrid. Even 10th place Athletic Club have conceded less goals than Barcelona in La Liga this season. And at a club like Barcelona, striving to be the best, striving there to be at the very, very top in every category, having the 6th best defensive record in the league, that's not good enough. That is nowhere near good enough, not even close, and that's why for me, something has to change. We've got to there make a change structurally, individually, maybe both of those, because trust me, a solid base is the bare minimum for a title-winning team. You cannot survive at the top for long without it. Point number 3 is all surrounding width, because that for me is another thing you cannot succeed without, especially at Barcelona. In the way that we play, you need width. And not just width either, you need quality in that width, because when you look back at the finest Barcelona teams, and indeed the best teams in the world in general, you'll always find there an abundance of quality in the wider areas. And I think that's very, very key right now for Barcelona, especially under Quique Setien. And I think right now, when you look there at the injury to Dembélé this season and in previous seasons too, and combined really with the fact that we've had quite a lack of depth there in our forward areas, what you've been seeing is a team that's starving themselves of options out wide. And that's never ever been a good thing, because what that means there, when you don't have those wider options, you've got to put all of your play, you've got to centre everything all down the middle of the pitch. And that's an issue, because once your opposition realise you're only going to pose a threat down the middle, what are they going to do? They're going to pack the centre of the field. They're going to defend very, very narrow, and they're going to smother you. They're going to put as many bodies in there as possible and try and shut you down. And that's why this season, on plenty of occasions, we've seen Messi surrounded by 4, 5 players, all in that same sort of area. We've seen Griezmann the same. And without that extra threat out wide, somebody like Dembélé just hugging the touchline, looking there to use that pace in behind, you make it very, very easy for the opposition to shut you down. And yeah, you know, we do use our fullbacks. We do there rely on them to provide that width out wide. But even that, you can't solely rely on the fullbacks time and time again to give you that wider option. Because without wingers, you put massive pressure there on the fullbacks time and time again to go forward. In doing that, in the bigger games, they will leave gaps in behind that will make you more vulnerable defensively. The two go with each other there, defensively and the width. You can see there how they can be counterproductive. And I just feel there, with genuine world-class wingers, somebody like Dembélé, somebody maybe like Trincao coming in, Ansu Fati, you need natural players there who can hurt opposition in those wider areas to give you another option. And with Setien's Barça, we need variety, we need that creativity. Number 4 is all about in front of goal. We have to be, in my opinion, more clinical, because when we do indeed move into that final third, we open up the space in the attacking areas, we create chances in front of goal. The one thing that we lack is that clinical nature, that clinical touch in front of goal. Because if you think about it this season, how many times have we found ourselves coming away from games saying, how did that happen? How on earth did we not score more goals today? How did we lose that game? How did we draw that game? We created so much. And I just think that can be seriously demoralising to your entire team. When you're playing well, when you're doing good things, when everything there is going to plan, you're creating chances, but then that very last step, you don't get what you deserve because you miss those big, big chances in the games. And that could be the difference there between winning or losing a title. In those big, big moments, you either take your chances or you leave yourself open. And I think, to be honest, the recent Clásico is a perfect example of that at the Bernabeu, because I think we all felt as though we played very well on that day. Quique Setien there came with a plan. The team seemed to execute it in a very, very good way. But we didn't take our chances. We had our moments in front of goal, we missed them, and despite all the improvement we'd made, we lost the game 2-0. And that is what I mean. Those missed chances in the biggest games on the biggest stage. it can cost you. If you don't take the lead, if you don't assert that dominance, games against the best teams, they'll change in an instant. And last but not least, number 5 is very, very important for me. It's all about what we have, and in particular, using what we have. Because like I've said before, in this transfer window, we do need there maybe a few signs. We could bring in some players to improve our squad. But what we have to do, I feel, is actually change our mindset in the way we go about things. Because quite honestly, we don't need anything this summer. A lot of what we do need to add to our squad, you could find already at the club. And I think that's the thing that we have to do a lot more. We like to talk about signings, we like to talk about bringing players in, but as a club here, we can certainly use what we've got. Because when we got our squad together, where the transfer window is over, we have to start thinking about getting the best out of the players that we already own, because that's the key of any club. You can't just constantly buy more and more and more players. It's unsustainable. And I think certainly with Setien, the players that we've got, you can look at coaching, you can look at improving players, and that's what he's got to do. Because I think given time there, he'll try and get every last drop of talent out of the squad that we've got, and that has to be the mindset. We've got very, very good players, we've got a lot of experience as well, we've got young players, we've got players who are going to be coming back on loan, and there's plenty of options there. There's plenty to choose from. What we have to do now is make those players better, develop those players, take players there and actually improve them. And that's something I feel we didn't see under Valverde. We didn't see him take many players under his wing and actually make them better, take them to another level. We can't just keep saying, well, he doesn't work, he's not good enough, he's out, bring somebody else in, and then when they don't work, ship them out. It is unsustainable. Have your players, have your squad, and then try and use what you've got to get the very, very best out of them, and ultimately help us achieve our ambitions. So that there, guys, is the 5 important points that I feel Quique Setien and the club as a whole, the players, need to do in order to bring Barcelona back to the very, very top, and ultimately where we all feel as though the club should be. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree there with my 5 points? Is there anything that you'd like to add to those points, an area that you feel we need to improve? Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully, Barcelona will be back on the training field soon, on that path to football returning. I'll see you then. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.